Hello, and welcome to Biblical Scrolls, where we take a deeper dive into the hard to interpret, the obscure, or even the misinterpreted passages of Scripture. We will also look at apocryphal and pseudepigraphal texts and other historical manuscripts. We'll be using a variety of sources, so if you're committed to just one version of the Bible, this channel may not be for you. Now let's dig into today's passage. The Book of Jubilees is an apocryphal text, although it is considered by some to be canonical. It does survive in such traditions as the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. Sometimes Jubilees is called Little Genesis, as it retells the events of Genesis and parts of Exodus, sometimes with more details. And because the writing of Jubilees was likely the 2nd century BCE to as late as the early 3rd century BCE, the details it records may have some historical validity. We're going to look at some of those today in this video. The first question posed by Genesis that Jubilees answers is, how long were Adam and Eve in the garden before they ate the forbidden fruit? Well, this is answered in chapter 3, verse 17. It says, after the completion of exactly 7 years there, and in the 2nd month, on the 17th day of the month, the serpent came and approached the woman, and the serpent said to the woman, has God commanded you, saying, you shall not eat of every tree of the garden? She said to it, God said to us, all the fruit of the trees of the garden to eat, but the fruit of the tree which is in the middle of the garden, God said to us, you shall not eat, neither shall you touch it, or you shall die. So the following verses are almost word for word from Genesis. So Jubilee says 7 years. Some rabbinic traditions say it was much less than that, as little as 10 days. But this is just tradition and speculation. Next, in Jubilees 4, 29 through 30, we are given more detail as to how long Adam lived. In Genesis 5:5, it says Adam lived 930 years, and then he died. Let's read Jubilees 4, 29 through 30. It says, at the close of the 19th Jubilee, in the 7th week, in the 6th year of it, Adam died, and all his sons buried him in the land of his creation. And he was the first to be buried in the earth. He lacked 70 years of 1,000 years, so 930, because 1,000 years are as one day in the testimony of the heavens. Therefore was it written concerning the tree of knowledge, on the day you eat of it you shall die. Because of this, he did not complete the 1,000 years, but instead he died during it. So as 1,000 years are as one day with the Lord, Adam did indeed die on the day he ate the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil, but not as we think of a day or 24-hour period. The next questions we can answer from Jubilees is, what was the name of Noah's wife? No, it was not Mrs. Noah. In chapter 4, verse 33, we're told her name. It says, in the 25th year, Noah took to himself a wife, and her name was Emzara, the daughter of Rachiel, the daughter of his father's brother, in the 1st year of his 5th week. So we see that her name is Emzara, and she was his cousin, which was somewhat normal back then in Genesis. And then in chapter 7, 14 through 16, we also see that the names of their sons' wives, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. But they're very long and hard to pronounce, but if you want to see them, it's Jubilees 7, 14 through 16. Now let's fast forward to Joseph's life after he was sold into slavery by his brothers, and his coat was dipped in the blood to deceive his father. Jubilees says that this news, although heartbreaking to Jacob, actually did kill both his sister Dinah and Bilhah, the handmaid. That is in Jubilees 34:15. So let's look at that. Jubilees 34:15, it says, on that day Bilhah heard that Joseph had perished. She died, mourning him. She was living in Kedareth, and Dinah, his daughter, died after Joseph had perished. Jubilees also has a strict 364-day solar calendar. It names 2 of Adam and Eve's daughters, Ashurah and Awan. Jubilees also has more details about the sons of God and daughters of men talked about in Genesis 6 and the book of 1st Enoch. Additionally, it mentions 4 classes of angels. Number 1, the class of presence. 2, sanctification. 3, guardian angels. And 4, those presiding over nature. This is mostly covered in Chapter 2 around the retelling of the creation events. And finally, dates are important in Jubilees. It gives a detailed calculation of years and Jubilee years for all the genealogies and comes up with 2,410 years from creation to the giving of the law at Mount Sinai. I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe even learned something. Please subscribe and give a thumbs up. The topics on this channel are difficult and sometimes there's a difference of opinions, but that's okay. Be blessed, be encouraged, and I'll see you in the next video.